So finally, at last, an update to the survival game. I'll be changing the terrain generator and implementing infinite world generation. So no time to waste, and let's begin with some minor tweaks. So I cleaned up my scripts cause last vid I left them messy because I'm a dirty boy, I guess, and updated all my scripts that had any procedural noise functions and instead used my procedural texture library scripts from the last vids. I ran into a few issues with my terrain, like it was turning red, but that's only because I was doing some debugging on it and the textures were not wrapping properly on the terrain, and I also managed to screw up the character controller. It was like running uncontrollably fast, and it was also teleporting. I tried boosting my laptop with energy drinks, but instead this happened. A big update here is I lowered the camera position. Now we'll be able to see more head, and we don't have to look at that top Homer looking bald head from that dude. I also went to Blender, added clothes to our character, and I just painted his legs with pants on it because I just got lazy, but I did model a very nice sweater on him. Now our guy won't be committing any public indecency exposure, so he's off the hook from the law. I also added a jump mechanism to the player controller, so I had to animate a jump animation in Blender. So I think I really put some good work in this. So this video defo deserves a hit to the like button. And here's our guy spawned in our world. And as y'all can see, he's still got them moves, the same walk and same run animation. And of course hopping like he thinks he's Mario. So let me know in the comments below what y'all think of this character controller. Do you like the new sweater and animation? Something that really bothered me so much was that blocky terrain. Now, not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that I think we need something completely new. Something that's not like that one certain game out there, so, you know. I first tested it out by simply replacing it with a plain terrain, which the points would be terrain height, of course, but making the terrain interesting would have been really hard. Being able to manipulate the mesh would have been really tough for me, so, of course, I had to try something else. So I decided from blocks to a plane, I will be using the marching cubes algorithm. Yeah, marching cubes isn't actually literal cubes that march. It's just an algorithm that can create some nice terrain. But hey, I thought it would be really fun to see some animated cubes marching. These are all the 14 different cases you can get in marching cubes. And how it works is you'll need a 3D array of data, which you can get that from like a noise function of values of zeros to ones, meaning the zeros are the empty cells and the ones are the terrain cells. And then a large data set of integers of triangle indices tell how triangles will be connected based off the cube's configuration. But that's just the dummy's perspective on how the algorithm works, I guess. Basically, think of it like a 3D complex version of connected dots puzzles like the ones you did when you were 7. And here are some examples of the different marching blocks with random configurations, just with different symmetries from the other 14 cases, basically. So yeah, that was just a little quick look on marching cubes. And now we can make our terrain by generating a noise texture that determines the height of the terrain. In a 3D array, all the cells below of the height are marked as terrain. And then after all of that, I run the algorithm from the 3D array we've got here, iterating each block of the data, creating a terrain mesh based off marching cubes. Now, throughout the making of the game, I've only been working on a single chunk of the world, completely lonely, nowhere else to go, but just in my lonely small world with no friends. Just like my real life. Hey, but it doesn't have to be so lonely anymore because we'll be adding infinite world generation. But I still won't have any friends. Well, the very first test, I began generating chunks all around the player as it moves. And that was it. Nothing else. This would have caused so many lag problems without any of the tweaks and optimization. But before I optimize anything else, I measured the distance of the chunks to the player and only rendered the ones that are in range. This doesn't make any performance difference because it doesn't still remove any chunks outside, but this is still important. So a small difference, but actually significant, is the order of chunk generation.
That's what she said.
Michael, please.
Currently, the chunks generate all at the same time, but when faced with a bit of processing overhead like the current marching cubes algorithm, would actually generate in a grid-like pattern. So instead, I first generated the closest chunks from the player and then to the farthest viewable chunks. It generates layer by layer around the player, that creates a very nice effect meant to prevent any chunks generating in front of the player. Now, this is kind of off topic for the channel to talk about because I don't talk about computer science stuff here, but whatever. I've stored the chunks in a data type called a dictionary, which will store a chunks represented by a key that's a position, ensuring there are no duplicate chunks. And then the very last tweak is the chunks that are out of range are not rendered, and I programmed in frustum culling, which only renders objects the player can see, and when the player is in range, the chunks are rendered back instead of just regenerating new ones, because that would be a waste. In that last, when we give our guy the superpowers of Flash, or just give him some dodgy medicine, we now see that our world is generating forever and ever until our guy just collapses of exhaustion, I guess. And that was the entire update of the game. Look guys, I get it, that may not be enough for y'all, but that's because I didn't show y'all everything. Have I not mentioned I'm in university currently? One of my classes, my chemistry professor is trash at teaching. She's a literal NPC, but I don't know, maybe I'm just an idiot. Actually, y'all let me know in the comments below, is my chemistry professor a trash NPC or am I just an idiot? But hey, excuses cannot pass on YouTube. I must upload more consistently. I'll try my best. Also, I need to work on that horror game, which will be on Unreal Engine. I'm also gonna update that survival game next month too, so sub to the channel for that video. Wait, did I not mention to smash that subscribe button? Smash the subscribe button, guys. Also, hit that like button too, because it's nice to be liked. But come on, we are so close to 100 subs. So, y'all have a nice day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.